Hello everybody, and welcome back to another market analysis for the month of September. A lot has happened over the last couple of weeks, and I thought it was pertinent to make another video. Today I really wanted to focus in on a couple of different things. Chiefly, I wanted to have a look at the rebranded or new Last Man Standing store. This thing has been changed a lot, but with the new update back in early August, there's been a couple of pretty interesting price changes, whether indirectly or directly. And honestly, I think the store is having a pretty big effect on the game as a whole, so I want to have a look at it. As always, I'll be looking at anything else interesting in the RuneScape economy this month. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, I always appreciate it if you incinerate the like button. Always helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much, and let's get started. Now before I get started here, if I sound a little distracted, it's because I got a new mechanical keyboard and there's so much RGB on it, I can't even focus on my screen. Okay, where was I? Yeah, right, Granite Maul. Now the Granite Maul has increased in price quite dramatically in the last month or two. Currently it's valued at around 110k. Now this is kind of significant because the Granite Maul historically has been extremely cheap. I mean, it's a very, very common item. And for quite some time, it would just hover around the high alch price. But if we have a look over the last month, it actually has increased not only past the high alch price, but it has actually nearly doubled. Now this is definitely related to the ornate maul handle and thus the new LMS store. Now the ornate maul handle has also increased really dramatically over the last couple of months. So why exactly are these related? Well, if you PK someone and they have a granite maul with an ornate maul handle equipped, if you kill them for it, it will drop 375k cash. We can probably see the issue, at least back in August when the change was made. If we look back in August, the ornate maul handle actually fell below 300k. That in combination with the granite maul actually valued it less than that 375k drop. Now essentially what that means is you could go ahead and farm that over and over again. You could go ahead and buy a bunch of ornate maul handles and granite mauls off the Granite Exchange, put them together, and kill that account over and over again for, well, potentially 50,000 GP to 100k per kill. Now this does more directly affect the ornate maul handle, but as it's sold in the LMS shop and it has a very fixed point value, and the point system is very directly linked together, the ornate maul handle can't really increase forever, and it does look like it's plateaued at around 500k each. So the only way for the price to continue to equalize is through the granite maul, which in my opinion is why we have seen a pretty big price increase on that as well, making it the most expensive we've seen all year. Okay, another really interesting thing from the LMS shop that just happened recently is that the Blighted Super Restore is nearly as expensive as the regular Super Restore, which I find kind of funny. The whole reason the Blighted items were added was to put in a more cost-effective way to train in the wilderness. Well, let's have a look at the Blighted Super Restore over the last month. Yeah, so it's doubled in price just this month alone, which is kind of insane. I think Jagex will most likely have to change the weighting of the Super Restore. Currently, it costs 1 point to buy it and gives you 4 Super Restores, so maybe they'll have to rebalance that up to 5 or 6. I would imagine that they're probably going to do that. It's really interesting because the Blighted Super Restore is objectively worse than the regular one, as it's way less flexible. However, due to the way that the shop systems kind of work, the fact that the points kind of tie the prices together means that the Blighted Super Restore has been forced upwards, past what I believe it would naturally have gone. So that would have been a pretty damn good investment. In my opinion, I would say it's definitely too late. If Jagex does make a change to the weighting of the points, it is going to drop immediately. It doesn't appear that the other Blighted items have been affected to such a degree, but there are definitely still increases to be seen here. Anglerfish going from about 1100 all the way up to 1500, that's a pretty big increase. And yeah, nobody wants to talk about the Blighted Karambwan. Look at that, 2,000 each. How much is that compared to the normal one? Oh my god, it's 4 times more expensive for the Blighted version. Yeah, they definitely gotta do a little rebalancing of the points, I would say, because that's kind of ridiculous. Now another really big change that happened in the last week is the Blood Shard finally got its buff. Now it was a very significant change, buffing it up to a 20% chance to heal 30% of the damage done, making it way stronger. So how did that affect the price? Well, as the way most of these things tend to go, the hype and expectation of the buff was stronger than the actual buff itself. But with that said, the actual price is still much higher than it was pre-buff. Currently still valued at around 9 mil, which I think the strength and the potential meta from this item is maybe not quite discovered yet. So I think we're still in a bit of a discovery period, both with the price of the item and just the actual item itself. That said though, it is a degrading item, and at 9 mil, that is a fairly expensive cost per charge. So I think it'll only really ever be viable at bosses, unless of course you're mega rich and you don't really care too much. Now there was another major update this month, and that was Mahogany Homes. Now Mahogany Homes didn't really have much of an effect on the market for planks, barring the day that it was actually released. On the release day, planks jumped by, I don't know, 5 to 10%, not very much, and pretty much immediately went back down. So there wasn't really much to talk about there beyond the actual update day hype. Now next up here, I want to have a look at more general market trends. So we come over here to the market index section of GE Tracker. I like to look at it occasionally. Now similar to my last market analysis, the prices do seem to be cooling off still. Things are trending downwards, but nothing too drastic, and not particularly unexpected given the time of year it is. This is a pretty common trend around the beginning of the school year. Right now we're looking at the raids index, which on average looks like it's dropped around 15 to 20%. The general market index also showing a pretty significant drop, and that is also reflected if we look at individual items. Stuff like the Dragonite or Crossbow continuing to decrease in price, going from 100 mil down to maybe 95 mil, just a slow decline. Bandage Chestplate, kind of same thing, going from around 20.3 down to 18.8. Even higher end items like the Twisted Bow is seeing a bit of a decline in price, going from around 1.2 bill down closer to 1.15 bill. We have the Orbital Chestplate, which is on a slow decline as well, losing about 4 mil over the last couple of months. I would expect things to start picking back up again if we have any more major updates, and just leading up into the winter overall. And finally here we have the old school RuneScape bond, which is getting wildly expensive again. I went ahead and bought one the other day for 5.5 million GP, so it's getting up there again. This week specifically, it's increased a lot. Now I think last year the bond peaked at around 6.5 mil, somewhere around there. So my prediction this year is maybe 7 mil, maybe even 7.5 mil at its peak, sometime between November and December. It does seem fairly obvious that the price of the bond is always going to be going up. For the most part, every year it gets more expensive, and it is a pretty good way to track how much our gold value has inflated over the years. But in the end, guys, gold inflation isn't the end of the world, and it is kind of unavoidable to some extent. Now, I'm not sure how much of a parallel you could take from a real-life economy, but in general, most governments actually want some amount of inflation. I'm pretty sure in the US they try to average it at around 2% a year. So I'd be kind of interested to know what the inflation rate is in RuneScape. Anyway guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have anything you want to discuss, leave a comment down below, or better yet, go ahead and join my Discord. We have a nice little community there now, and it is a good way to reach me directly because I do often answer there. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Before I go here, I want to give a massive thank you to TzTokBunny OSRS, who just joined Revolver Ocelot and Kush Patel at my Dragon tier of YouTube membership. Thank you so much guys, that's so awesome of you, I really appreciate it. Also another massive thank you to Base Titch, Nathan Ashworth, and Double Talk for subscribing at the Runite tier. Thank you so much to them and the rest of my YouTube members. If you are looking for another way to support the channel, becoming a YouTube member is an awesome way to do so. You'll get yourself mentioned in my videos, a custom Discord role, as well as access to my video release schedule. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.